Hey, it's Luke with Out of Darts. Today we are checking out a brand new product on the shop. This is the AIT Toys Lightning. Let's get going. I'm really excited for this blaster to be on the shop because it is a joy to play with. It's got a bunch of notable features and some really unique upgrades from other offerings out there. Let's get right into it here. So first, it is a mag through grip blaster. It has a 10-round magazine. The magazines are fairly lightweight, but seem reasonably well built. I would say they're not as sturdy as like the Kodas, of course, which are sort of our like really high strength magazines, but they are completely fine for the purpose. They are nice and small. So the Lightning itself is semi-auto or full auto or burst, depending on how you've got the blaster set up. So you can fire once and shoot once. Now you'll notice there, as I'm pulling the trigger, it stopped firing. The little LCD on the back is now telling me out. Let's just put one dart on the top of this magazine. It will actually reset. It'll go from mag exclamation point back to 10. This works on a simple trigger pull counter. So every time that the mechanics fire, it will go down one. So I've shot once, or two-shot burst, we're down 2 darts. It makes sense to me that they could probably change the firmware so that this actually detects darts each time. However, there might be some disadvantages there based on sunlight or other factors that could modify the input from that sensor. So for now, it uses a counter, which is kind of a neat thing if you're using the 10-round mags. Quick word on compatibility. It does seem like Nightingales with a little bit of modification can certainly work in this blaster. So that's pretty cool for those that are already using Nightingale magazines. There is the option. I generally just go with the magazines that come with the blaster or that go to the blaster specifically. I know on my Diana, I tried various other magazines and just found that the ones intended for the blaster really lined up and worked the best. The blaster's got a very solid feel to it. It's a very kind of monolithic design. You've got the whole lower and front is all one solid injection mold, and then the top is another piece. Now, unlike a lot of other small blasters, this blaster doesn't use a solenoid. It actually has a cam pusher that rotates, and it's got a little brushless motor in there. And from what I can tell, the rate of fire is very high, it's very reliable, it's very, very snappy. And ultimately, I think they were able to save some cost going this route compared to a solenoid. Now, one of my favorite things about this blaster is the trigger. It is a true 2-stage trigger. So there's a little mini trigger up in the front. And what it does is that will rev, and then pulling it all the way will fire. And what that allows you to do is really pop around the corner, pre-rev, and then fire. And it turns your response time on this blaster to almost nothing because it is incredibly snappy, and it's what makes this blaster a pleasure to use and play with on the field. Now, the next thing that I love about this blaster is up front, and it's just the most obvious feature, but it is this battery. This is almost like a DJI style battery. These batteries charge really quickly. In our testing, it seems like 15 minutes from empty to a full battery, which is fantastic. You don't have to have a LiPo alarm or worry about that. It won't scream at you when it's dead. It'll just stop functioning and power down. The blaster includes the charger, the battery, and the blaster itself, plus 1 magazine, coming in at just over $200, and I think it's a really compelling price point overall. Next, I wanted to talk about just a few interesting design choices. First, it is an incredibly slim blaster. There's just a little bump from the flywheels here, and it's very short. The balance is good, and it doesn't weigh much, so it's gonna make a really great secondary, or with the performance you get out of this thing, you could run it as a primary. Most of the games we play are under 150 FPS. That's really common for our kind of close quarters game. So it makes a really great primary for that class, or a secondary for a higher class for when you're in close quarters, and might be a nice complement to any Springer blaster that you might fire at a longer distance. One of my favorite design features is the automatic idling. When you have the blaster on and you're in a fire mode that is not safe, and you put the magazine in, those flywheels start idling immediately. And the nice thing here is you don't have to use a special kind of holster. It's extremely low power consumption. I've had no problem with battery life as far as how many mags we've been throwing through this thing. Now, I've sort of been alluding to the best of the best feature, and upgradability via firmware is something we really haven't seen consistently in a blaster. We have Momentum that has had firmware upgrades, but they're a little difficult to do. This has got a Wi-Fi module in it that you can connect to a PC and actually update firmware and change settings. And that's where you'll change from full auto to semi if you want that setting to be there. Now, I haven't done this personally yet, but the idea of being able to actually tune down the FPS of the blaster, reduce the speed of the flywheels so that you can play, you know, with your neighborhood kids, or you want to play with your kids at home, or friends that don't want to play as high of FPS, or you want to go play HVZ at a lower velocity, then you can. And that is spectacular because it does hit pretty hard. You definitely need to be wearing eye protection when playing with the Lightning. Other than that, I'm just really impressed. I think it's going to be a great product on the shop. We are very excited to get out and play with this. As soon as we get our main batch, we'll probably have to do a little employee battle because it's kind of fun all playing with the same blaster. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I'm out of darts. No! I'm on safety.